Welcome everyone. This is a Viper Professional Training and Support webinar. Today's date is February 20th, 2018. This is a Tuesday night webinar. And the title of tonight's webinar is Exact Levels to Enter Based on Lightning. And as everyone knows that's been to our webinars or our live trading room, everything that we say and do at Viper Trading Systems is for educational purposes only. Futures trading, Forex trading, any kind of financial instruments trading involves risk. Therefore, there's always risk of loss. You should only trade discretionary capital, and that is money that you can afford to lose. Nothing said in this webinar. Other webinars we might have, our live trading room or anything else with Viper Trading Systems, should never be construed as trading or investment advice. And as always, everyone does trade at their own sole discretion. Any questions on the disclaimer? All right, if not, we're going to go ahead and get started. By the way, I've got a chart. I just quickly, because I was running late, I went ahead and just fast forwarded it to approximately the open of the market yesterday. Okay. Do any of you trade the markets on Sunday night at all? I know some of our people do. Some of you? Okay. Well, what I want to ask you real quick, though, is if you saw this situation right here, what would you do? Anybody? What would you do? Monday through Friday mainly. That's what most people do, and that's fine. Scalp, okay. But what would you do as far as using? Yeah, there you go. Short box in, okay. Okay, good. Look for scalp shorts. All right. Now let me ask you a question. Does everybody, without even drawing lightning on this chart, see the lightning on this chart? Because basically, if you draw the lightning on the chart, you're going to pretty much see this right here, okay? And I'll bet this draws like this too with our little tool also, but I'm going to draw it manually just so you can see it. And let's just go ahead and draw it down into here for now, okay? Now, to me, I see that that is a swing right there. It's fairly identified too because, you know, you had a high, a low, a lower high, and a much lower low. So that's definitely an established swing. So I usually draw a line at an established swing like that, okay? Now, I also look at my chart to see what could happen if this decided just to break one way or the other, okay? And your lightning 3 can be really good on this, okay? Because, for instance, if you look at this, you've got a high here, a low, lower high, and even a lower high here. So technically, you're still heading down, right? Okay, so naturally, you would want to box this in with a bias to the short side. Now, if this was to decide to break up, I would expect it to more than likely take out this swing to the left, not even this one because that's so close to that one, you know, just basically something like this, wouldn't you? I'd expect it to very possibly shoot up around phantom or something like that, come back, and then give us a trade, right? Now, if you're a conservative trader, you can also even wait. If you don't like boxing in around mid-bands and things like that, you've got another choice that you can do, and that is to simply wait until it breaks support down in here and do the exact same thing. Okay, and you can do all this based on lightning because lightning 2, lightning 3 are really good at this. Okay, now in the meantime though, for us that like to scalp at least, I would probably want to do something like this. I would look at this side over here and I would draw a box, something like that with bias to the downside. Okay, and of course we've got the tools to trade this too, and that's in Object Trader. By the way, Bill, I got your the email you sent Linda earlier, and I will be happy to show you that. I had gone ahead and started with this being at 5 o'clock, you know, last night, but we will show how to trade the Object Trader at the open the way Greg actually likes to trade it and several other people, Kenneth and some of the others, okay? So, but let's go ahead and let's diagnose this first off. Isn't this what we diagnose on this chart right now? I mean, you've got to take the time to diagnose your chart and look at that. That actually drew right where my white line was, right where my white line was. A little different here because it did do more than 2 bars. So basically you've got a little thrust down, retrace, thrust down, retrace, thrust. So this is your secondary swing right here, which they have broken, but they haven't broken this swing here. Okay. So thrust, retrace, kind of like an ABC, so to speak, and just came down to sport. Okay. So we would be ready to box this in, right? Okay. Now keep in mind when you box in something like this, if it doesn't go ahead and break through this with a vengeance, you're going to want to protect some coin. Okay. Because when you're sideways like this, you are in a scalping mode. Now, does that mean that this won't break down and take out these lows? No. But keep in mind that if it doesn't and it bounces, you want to pretty much, be out of it fairly quickly based on, again, lightning that we're going to be talking about quite a bit tonight. Okay, so let's go ahead and do our strategy. And let's see, let's go ahead and do no more than 5. That would be if you wanted to do 5 with gold. That's $50 a tick, so you might not want to do that. But I'm going to put that as my maximum anyway. Okay, and then start object trader true, start long enabled false and short enabled false. That's good. So let's go ahead and start it. Okay, we're in object trader, and we've diagnosed our chart. So what we're going to do is we're going to draw a region. Happens to draw just like I drew the box. That was kind of luck in a way, but it basically looks at a couple of candles, and we're looking at shorts only, right? And that's the way we would simply be ready to box that in. Okay. And you could also draw like a little trend line if you wanted to, between these highs, just in case this comes up a little higher. See, because you do have a high, a low, a lower high, just not a lower low, but you do have a little trend line there. Okay. So we'd be ready to trade this, wouldn't we? Right? That's what we talk about when we say to box in, like around mid-band. Now, will this actually pop up and give us a long trade? Well, there's always that possibility. But when will it give us the long trade? Just like we said, we're not going to just box it in. For instance, if you were to box this in right here, okay, and it broke this swing right across here, then you would want it to keep breaking. So if it didn't keep breaking, you would want to get out of it quickly. Okay, because the bias is still to the short side. The time you want to really not be as concerned about the color of the background is opens and news events. You don't really care about it then. Okay, because the open of the market, to give an example, when even oil starts trading at 8 a.m., gold moves. Okay, so we're prepared for that. So let's go ahead and see if we can get a little trade. And by the way, it's up to you, if you want to do like a touch plus like 2 or 3 or something like that. Some people like touch better than they like the close, because if this closed inside this box, it would have to close all the way outside the box to ever fire that trade. You can always say, you know what, I'll just go touch plus 3 then. That would be fine, because that's really almost like touch plus 4, because it's got to verify. See, there's 1 tick out. We haven't gotten a trade yet. Still haven't gotten a trade yet. We're trying to get a lower high though, see it? Now I'd be in this trade probably already, but let's just do it with Object Trader. Okay, we're in the trade. All right. Now, anytime you get in a trade, the first thing that you want to do every single time is to get your target where you want it. First off, I see a target like down in this area right through here. They've already checked here. So I'd probably put that target right there, move 1 out of the way, look to the left to trade the right, move 1 over here. And then we're ready to roll. Okay. It's really that easy to box those in and get a decent trade as far as that goes. Now keep in mind that touch plus 2 is still the close of a bar with somebody else using like a 2-tick bar. You don't know how deep they're going to go, or if they're going to go back in that box a little bit, or what they're going to do, but you do know that you've got lightning to kind of tell you what's going on. Okay, so look at your lightning, and you can clearly see you have a little down, back up, down. So I would probably put my stop just above this swing since it's so close, like so, with exit on close more than likely. Okay? And then I wouldn't worry about this trade at all unless it decides to just take me out. Now keep in mind, with 3 contracts, 11 tick stop is actually $330, right? 11 times 3, 33 ticks. So that can be pretty heavy, right? Now what you can also do, if you don't want to take a chance with all of them like that, see this lightning right here? Just set your box to where if it happens to close inside that, you could go ahead and say, you know what, I'll just go long one if it does, because that way I'd only be in 2 to go up in here. That way I wouldn't be taking a chance with all the way up here with 11 ticks. Now, if this closes below here, we're going to move our stop anyway. Okay. Now, does everybody see what I'm talking about with lightning? Because you should be able to even see the next trade on this chart pretty easily if it does break the bottom, because we talk about that trade all the time. It's that thrust and that pullback. Okay. Now, we don't know, for instance, if it's for sure going to do it, but it's looking like it might. So let's see if it will. We've got support right here. Look to the left to trade the right. Actually got more like support right through here, actually, I think, because there's support there and support there. So I think that's pretty much support. Okay. So wouldn't you think that if this was to break down, just like we diagnosed a little while ago, pop up and kiss and roll over, that more than likely you would have a conservative trade? This is a little bit more aggressive here because we basically, boxed it into the mid band. Okay. But now that it's closing down below there, I would probably go ahead and protect that and not even worry about the box anymore. Okay. Because we don't want to give them all this back. We've got $210 already, and that's decent. There's even, 210 so far. There's 240. And by the way, if you're just a trader that likes to get like $300 and hit close, you can do that also. Okay. My son, when I was teaching him to trade, that's what he would do. He would do 2 contracts with oil, and if he hit $300 or more, he would just simply hit the button. Because look what happens when you don't. This may go ahead and break, and that's fine if it does. But what if it bounced off of this and took us out and we had nothing? Matter of fact, a little less than nothing. See what I mean there? So you can definitely take some coin off the table if you want to. Okay. Now I like, whoa, that was a good little pop down. That must have been some kind of news came in on crude oil. Don't you think? Well, let's see if it does what I said it would do. We've got resistance right here at 48.70. I would be looking for this little trade. Let's get rid of that one. And let's see if we can get up there and kiss that little area right there, because that's where we diagnosed it, that it would give us the trade, right? So let's see if we get a trade there. Notice how when they thrust down, it's almost irritating. You can't even get out quick enough. Anybody notice that when they thrust down real quickly? They also just shotgun around, and they don't let you out of the trade. That's one of the things that irritates me quite a bit about it, because it actually, let's face it, if we would have killed it all down there at that very bottom, we'd have $1,000 or better, right? But when they thrust like that, they always pull back, and they do it quickly. They don't give you a chance. It's not like looking at a chart after it's happened. There's sometimes when these markets move fairly quickly. Exactly. All right, so let's see if we can get another little trade. We're going to do 2. Okay, we'll do 2. And if this does decide to roll over at mid-band instead, you could go ahead and do something like this. I'd probably want them to at least break like this area right through here so that at least come down and kiss resistance that was resistance and roll over. Okay, let's see if we can get something. We'll take whichever one it gives us. Okay, it gave us this one, it looks like. Touch plus 3. Okay, so we're in 3. And we've got these turned off now. Okay, now what if this goes up a little higher? Well, it easily could, because you got to look to the left to trade the right and see where they haven't checked yet. They haven't checked the swing right across here yet either. See it right here? I always look to the left to trade the right, and I can tell about where they're going. If they don't hit their head here, like on this yellow bar, they're going to come all the way up to this line instead. Let's see what they do. So far, they're respecting that. That's fine with us. Let's see what. Sorry about the time while I was watching the video. Any chance to talk about the time trader yet? Yes, Bill. I'm going to actually show the time trader the way we would set it up, and we'll show those trades that actually they happen every day as far as that goes too. Okay. The main thing you got to do is you got to have the guts to just turn it on, and that's tough to do sometimes because you're thinking, wow, this thing's heading, up, and, the open of the market happens, and what do? They retrace and give you 10 ticks. And that's really all you care about is, like the way Greg and Kenneth and some of them trade is they actually just box it in, a couple, maybe 3 contracts. Of course, if you do that on 4 charts, that's 12 contracts. That's a lot of contracts. Okay. Some people are even with some of these combines out there, where they do let you trade, a lot heavier, because all you care about is that you're making money, right? And that's the whole key to it. Let's speed this up a little bit. This is dog slow. I always like to look to the left to trade the right and look at nice swings, and they have not checked that one yet. They have checked this one as they broke it. They've got to check it as they come back up. And if they go any higher than here, I'd be very leery of this trade. Let's see how to activate it. It didn't move this morning. Do I activate in the indicator or strategy? It's always the strategy, Bill. I'll show you how to do that too. We're going to go through it in step-by-step detail. But what I want to do first, though, is I want to show everybody how to catch these lightning trades because, frankly, I already see the other trade, even if it decides to take out 1346. Don't you? Does everybody? Even if it decides to take it out, you can still see the trade because it'll come back and kiss it. Watch and see if it doesn't do just that. Now, this is making me a little more nervous because they are trying their dead level best to come up here and check this swing first. Let's see if they do. They're trying to roll. We're already in the trade, so we're not going to add. I like them higher than I do breakouts. Now, does anybody get nervous when it does this right here? Because you're thinking, there, it just kissed it. See there? To the left. Now, since we got 3, we won't add, but I think this trade will still be okay because all that did is checked our left-hand swing. Let's see if it's okay. I will go ahead and put the stop just above there just in case now. So we're not risking but 2 ticks. Everybody see that? Oh, wow, look at that. Nice little trade. Okay, now does everybody use lightning to get out of the trade also? This just made me miss the last trade because remember we were talking about it. If it breaks, it comes back and kisses, doesn't it? Well, it's already done it. See there? It broke, it kissed. So if you weren't in the trade, you could have easily gotten in the trade right there also. Okay? So next time, where's the trade? Same thing, same question, same answer, right? Well, don't you think that more than likely, if we continue breaking down at all, that we're going to probably come back and kiss this area here or this area here? But see, this area's already been kissed. See that? Twice. So they've already said, honey, I'm home. I don't think they'll do it again. They don't normally. Okay, so we're going to protect our trade just above there. Let's see what this does. See if this will thrust down and then come back and kiss that line that I've got drawn there. I like a little bit more of a thrust than 3 or 4 ticks usually, but they don't always give it to you. There you go. That's a thrust. See there? Just kissed it. Just kissed it. That's where you can rely on this lightning type trades because they do quite well. See how that hit my line exactly and just rolled over? That's what we do every single day in that room, is we just get that kind of trade continually. And by the way, I don't know if anybody traded gold. I don't trade it overnight because I was sleeping this time of night already for sure, because I go to bed about 10:30. But you can clearly see that you've got a nice little short trade going on, can't you? And you can easily see also by using your lightning that you can trust your lightning. See that lightning right there to the left? Well, if this takes it out, we probably don't want in that trade, do we? Let's just go ahead and move these out of the way for right now, just so that I can talk. But also watch your lightning, because, you know, the thing is, they're liable to come to a point where they do take you out. And naturally, you've got to watch lightning to see if you can stay in a trade. Okay, see, now this is lightning, but it's not established. This is established right here. Now this one's pretty much established. See that? That is the best way to stay in with lightning that I can think of. Now I would probably, since this has really been heading down, I'd probably go ahead and sell a couple of these, you know, buy to cover, that is, simply because you don't want to give it back continually. Okay. Oh, looky there. There's another. Where's it going to? Let's see. Did it kiss here? It certainly did. It already kissed it twice, but I would probably take that again. Let's see if we can get this one again. Okay, it hadn't kissed here yet. Got our little green stealth. Wouldn't you say if you were getting up at 2 o'clock in the morning, you'd just box this in? I would. I'd do it like that. Just like that. And if it comes up and kisses that line, like so, I might even short that top. Touch plus, let's just do 2. And we'll do 2 contracts. Is it best to use Time Trader on 2 or 3 charts at a time? Well, Chris, on your question, the thing is, if you just pick one, you're liable to pick one that's just not the one that actually does its thing that day. You know, it might give you a little trade, maybe a small scalp or something, but you know, I've found talking to these people that do this that they like doing it with you know, at least say 3 of the charts anyway. But you know, if that's heavy for, you know, like an account, I totally understand that too, because, you know, a person doesn't want to, you know, take a chance. Do it in sim for a few days and just see if it doesn't work. Because it actually amazingly does work. Now, this is slow in the middle of the night, but I think everybody can clearly see what I'm talking about here. Always remember, too, that if they're going to change trends, they're going to take out these medium swings. and usually after even an A, B, C. Okay? Because just because they get around mid-band, now you can box them in at mid-band even during the night and stuff like that, but keep in mind with, red backgrounds and red mid-bands and stuff like that, you're better off actually waiting for the retrace and the actual short. Now, when they get like this, you got to pretty much figure that you want to take some coin down in this area right here, just in case they don't go lower, because this has already had several thrusts. So you had 1, 2, 3, actually more than that if you go way up here. Yeah, a lot more. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So that's actually 5 thrusts and then even 6. So they're not going to, they'll give up the ghost before long. But we'll go ahead and put our stop just above right there just in case. Oh, drawing on your charts is absolutely, totally critical to trading successfully, I think. Or at least seeing the trade in real time. Because to see the trade in real time will make a world of difference. And we go ahead and tighten our stop there. If this was our first trade of the day, naturally you want to just stay green. Trust your lightning. Let's watch and see if we can get out of this trade at the proper point without giving too much back. I am not a mid-bander on getting out of trades. I like lightning. Doesn't mean you reverse it though. That's usually not a smart idea. But see, so far you've got a little thrust down, a little retrace, a little thrust down. So we've got lightning. Let's see where lightning actually goes here. I'll go about 100 times. There's a little retrace. Now that's a swing, isn't it? See that? That's a swing. So wouldn't you go ahead and move your stop like that? And let's see if we can go down any further. And we'll get out of this trade if it breaks our lightning. Where's lightning right now? Well, it's right there. See it? That's a little lightning swing. Thrust, retrace, thrust. Just in case they don't take out these lows. Now, usually when they do that, I'm fairly quick about doing something like this. Buy one to get, because a lot of times they'll double bottom on you if you're not careful. But you can also just ride this thing down with the lightning swing. See, thrust, retrace, thrust. Your lightning swing is just right above that line. Will it take us out? Well, it might. Let's just see. Now we're getting to about 3 o'clock in the morning, about 5 more hours. Naturally, we're doing it quicker, so we'll get to the 8 o'clock so you can see how to do these things. And I'm going to walk everybody through exactly how to set Time Trader up. Now that's looking pretty good, isn't it? Now your swing is where? Right there. It's not identified, but that makes me a little nervous when you get those double bottoms like that. Doesn't mean I wouldn't go into it again if it gives us an opportunity, though. And it may still head down. We'll see. So far, it's okay. How many of you have used the region tool? Do most of you use the region tool or the trend line or sniper or something like that? Because the region tool, all it really is just the ability to box in a trade. And I think it's one of the best tools out there, because if I was to box this in with Chart Trader, to give an example, I have to have an exact area that I want to get in. And if it's a fake, it's a fake. But with region, what if you're deciding that you want it to close outside the region and it wicks outside the region and never closes. Well, Chart Trader would have gotten you in, Object Trader wouldn't. Region touch and trend lines, Dennis says. That's good. All right, this is going to stop us out, I bet you. That's double bottom. Always when they don't thrust down below that bottom, you can usually count on the fact they're going to retrace on you. Now, that's not the time, in my opinion, to go long, but a lot of people do, because it hit my line exactly. So, could you actually be long? Well, technically you could, but we're short, so we're just going to get stopped out instead. If it doesn't roll over, that is. That's going to get us. Okay, let's look to the left to trade the right. We got to know where the next trade is. All right. Okay, they've checked that swing right here, but they literally checked this 1-2 times. So I'm going to say right here, since they haven't checked that but once. So we're going to see if we can get in a trade here. So we're going to do a short inside touch +2, because notice that they've already taken this swing out, so they really can't go anywhere else but all the way up here, unless they roll over where they're at this predictor. But remember what we said about predictors 2 weeks ago? I don't like predictors unless they take out the lows. Okay, see this predictor? Rolls over, takes out the low over here to the left. That's a good predictor. So this predictor was okay because it had taken out lows too, right? This one has not taken out any lows. So I don't trust this predictor near as much as I trust the ones that take out the lows. Okay? Because we could just chop around now for a while because it looks like it's already been down quite a bit, lots of money. If we get in this trade here real quick, I'll go ahead and fast forward to like 8 o'clock because I'm going to have to show that time trader feature. And I'd actually planned on showing some other trades too. There we go. Just got a trade. Only one. See if we can get something here. I'm going to tighten the stop though, just in case. Shouldn't take out that swing. And we'll use lightning again. And we'll see if we can get in another trade if it happens to take us out. I think you get the drift though. Does everybody see where these things come to exactly if you just draw on your charts? Now, what if this thing was to decide to break up but not necessarily change trends? Wouldn't you think that it would probably just check one of the little bit larger swings? That's what I usually see it. Matter of fact, let's look at this and see. We had a thrust down, retrace, thrust down, like an ABC. So this is like a secondary swing up here. If they don't take that out, they're still heading down. And if they come up and kiss this area right here, that's an a priori swing. That would be a phantom. And I would venture to say they wouldn't take this out right here anyway. That's where I think they would really hit their head more than likely. Everybody see how I diagnosed that on the chart? Now, will it work? We'll find out, but we'll see. Now, this may be a higher low. We're going to find out. It needs to roll over. Now, I usually, when I'm watching a chart like this makes me a little nervous because, you're actually in the red on your trade. And if you just started for the day, that means that you're red on your trade for the day. Okay, so I usually watch it fairly close. I'd probably tighten my stop pretty good. That's still going to be $300 if that pops up through that line. But if it goes ahead and rolls over here, I'd put my stop right here. Everybody see that? Let's fast forward this and see where it went. If it stops us out, it stops us out. We're good. And I'd put my stop just above that swing, just in case. And it stopped us out finally. Okay? Now, where do you think the next trade is on this chart? So let's diagnose this thing. Let's get rid of the lightning, and let's do it to where we can all see where the trade should be. Bear with me a second. I accidentally hit the... Okay, so let's draw lightning 3. Okay, so we have a bottom. This swing is not identified, so that will not hold. This is a swing over here to the left. This is a swing over here to the left. So this looks to me to be my sweet spot if this thing doesn't actually change trends. You want to see if it does? Let's give it like that. That's resistance. And we'll see if we can get a little phantom trade. And I would go for the top one, not the bottom one. I don't like the breakout of it. If it gives us a trade, it does. If it doesn't, it doesn't. If it breaks micro, which it's already doing, see how you got a higher low right there? This has not changed trends yet, though. Trend change would take what, everyone? You'd have to take out this swing right here, like so. You would have to then break to the upside, come back and kiss, and then head up, right? Because that's your identified swing. High, low, lower high, lower low. Lower high, higher low. Lower high, higher low. Everybody see that? Now, does this mean that we couldn't box this in and very possibly get a quick little like 10-tick trade? Well, if you're going to do that, I'd probably literally already buy the thing. And I would do something like this. I'd do like for 10 ticks, put a tight stop. Don't let them go against me again. Everybody see that? Because you are getting a green stealth and everything. You know, do I want just like a 10-tick trade? Let's see if it works. If it doesn't, we just cost ourselves about 120 bucks. Looks like it might work. There we go. We got a target. All right, let's see if we can get an actual trade. Now, I would probably, in a case like this, I would go ahead and get ready just in case this decides to break over. I'd probably do something like that. And if this touches up here, we'll turn this one off. Touch +2. Okay. We just got us a decent little trade, it looks like. Now, with this going sideways like this, I would probably be real careful just in case this is a full-fledged trend change, because it very well could be. Let's go ahead and go for mid-band. That's actually just a deep bar probe, but notice how we diagnosed it in real time by looking at the swings to the left. Did we luck out doing that at all? No, because we've got the lines drawn on the charts. Perfect. Everybody see that? And I'd bring my stop, obviously, right in here somewhere. Okay, let's fast forward all this. I'm going to pause the screen for just a minute, and we're going to go into the mode of checking the open of the market. We'll just forget all this. We'll just fast forward it and let it go for about 20 minutes or so. Let's just show it here real quick. We don't care about all this. We're going to set it up for the market. Here we go. 7:54 in the morning, okay? This is 7:54 in the morning. Notice how that didn't take that out, by the way. That would have been a good short. Okay, but let's go ahead and set this up for our regular trading with the time trader. And Bill, bear with me just a second because I'm going to show you all exactly how to use this time trader. And I'm going to get rid of all lines on the chart. And get rid of lightning. And I'm going to show you how to use time trader. And let me just pause this for just a minute because I want to show you exactly how to do this. All right, first off, on time trader, what you want to do is you're not really caring as much about the boxes that draw with the indicator, okay? The indicator simply draws a region at a particular time. It does not take a trade. Okay, so if I set this for the 20th, which was today, for 7:59, that doesn't do me any good except it's going to draw a white box. Okay, now I usually do mine that way anyway because I want to see that white box before the green one forms. Okay, but this doesn't do the trade. So what you want to do the trade, hopefully I don't have too many days on that. Hopefully. There we go. All right, let's go to the strategy. Put the strategy on the chart. Be sure that it's black up here so that you can change things. Okay, and what you want to do is you want to go to these zones. The first zone is right underneath this parameter area. See where it says target stop parameters and then zone parameters? That's your zone. Your zone, you just simply have to set it for the time you want and the day you want. Okay, so we want the 20th of February, which is today. We want it for 7:59, which is the time we like. And you want to set it for about probably 30 minutes. Okay, once you do this, this chart's ready to go, except for one thing, you have to activate it. Okay, so let me show you how to activate it. All right, so what we're going to do, that's Russell. We're going to go ahead and activate that with time trader, short and long. And we're going to do, let's just do 3, and we're going to go for like 7 ticks. And let's just go for like 12. All right, we'll just set those targets only. We don't care about anything else. We're just wanting to make like 19 ticks times 3 contracts. So that'd be around $200 right in that area, right? Okay. Then let's set this one. Same thing, just go to your zone. Set it for the 20th of the month of February. Always make sure you put a colon in between your time, and it's a 24-hour clock. So 7:59 in the morning is obviously 7:59, but what would 7:59 at night be? That'd be 19:59, right? So let's set this for 7:59. We're going to set it. We can even set our targets, by the way. Let's just do 7 and 12 just for the fun of it. And we're going to do 3 contracts on it. Set time trader. And then we're going to do the same thing over here. If it's grayed out like that, all you got to do is make sure you turn it to false so that it goes black. Go up to your zone. Set your zone for the 20th, 7:59. And by the way, you just have to do this first thing in the morning while you're drinking a cup of coffee. It's not a biggie. And then we want to do the 7 and 12 again. Whoop, got to turn it on. And then we turn it on time trader. Three contracts. And then we got one chart to go, don't we? So this takes a minute, but you know, it's not that difficult at all. Scroll up to your zone again. Change your date. Change your time. And we'll make sure these are all set correctly with each other, because I think I just set 2 targets is all. So we're not going to set that 3rd target. Oh, did I do stealth on one? I'll fix it. I'll fix it. Do time trade. Let's make sure we got that one turned off, that one turned off, and that one turned off. And then you just simply wait for Time Trader to do its thing. Okay, that's the way, for instance, Greg sets his up. Okay, now what we're going to do is we're going to speed this up just a little bit. And by the way, you can also do, like a touch plus if you want to instead of the close. Just simply, maybe touch +2, touch +2, touch +2, touch +2, or you can do touch +3. It doesn't matter. The main thing is I don't personally like close all the time, because you can end up, basically getting in too late. Okay, so stealth, yeah, we'll fix that. Turn that on, and we're ready to roll. Okay, now Time Trader will not show up at exactly 7:59 like the little indicator does. Okay, because the indicator is set for time only, but Object Trader has to actually have a bar close to activate that region. Okay, so we're going to wait for it. It's 7:56, 29 seconds. We'll speed it up a little bit just so we can get there quick. 7:57, 7:58. There we go. We'll wait. Okay, there's 7:59 in the morning right there. There's your box. Okay, this one hadn't closed yet, so you don't have your box just yet. Okay, there's your box. Haven't got your box on these because they haven't closed yet. There's your box. There's your box. And let's just see what they do. Anybody remember gold this morning at 750 something? We got a monster long trade. I mean, we got a monster nice long trade. I'm not even going to let it do its thing because I traded that this morning. Okay, but if you're going to do something like with 4 charts, you probably just want to scalp. Because what you're trying to do now, you could go ahead and let a runner run if you want to. Okay, the way to do that would be, move your runner right now kind of out of the way. Okay, same thing here, for instance. Okay, but you're going to find out that if you do that, that sometimes you're not going to get the runner to begin with, because you're basically scalping out of these little boxes. There's a YM one right there. Let's see what we get here. We can't even see the P&L, so let's just let it do its thing. Now notice that I have it set to reverse also. So for instance, I don't know if anybody was watching Russell earlier today, but it actually reversed. I even called the trade in the room this morning. Okay, there's a nice little trade so far. Oh, and we forgot to set our break even. You really want to set your break even also, because once you're in a trade with some decent coin and everything, you don't have to give it back. Okay? You don't have to give it back to them. You can set it a little higher if you want, like break even, something like that. Let's speed this up and see what it did. See, now YM just gave up on YM. Let's see if, and we didn't turn that back on. Should have turned that back on. I forgot about that. Oh well, we missed that one. No big deal. Gold's doing great. And I'd go to break even on gold. Let's just see what these things are doing. There's oil. I think I just moved that target as it was already hitting it, so we're out of that trade. Now notice I didn't even go to break even on this one yet. I'm going to go ahead and go to break even, like right across here. But keep in mind that we're also going to flip this thing if it actually takes out that box to the upside. There we go. We just got our target on gold totally. Keep in mind that you could have stayed in gold even longer. We did actually stay in that trade a little longer in the room this morning, but that turned out to be a decent trade. Look at that Russell flipped. Could we actually add to Russell since we're only looking at one? No, we're looking at three. We're looking at three. If that touches the top of that box, I'm going to add. Okay. Does everybody see, though, with just what we did just now? Oh, crud. I forgot to change our P&L back to zero. Did anybody remember what that was first? Because I wanted you to see what it was with just those trades. Anybody? Do you use touch or closed? Chris, I think that's personal preference. You know, I kind of like touch on a lot of things because to me, touch plus 2, to give an example, means that it's at least breaking out of my little consolidation by 2 ticks, and that's usually pretty good. But I'm fairly cautious if it, you know, happens to go back against me too. Okay. Matter of fact, I'd probably do something like that myself, simply because if it breaks this little resistance area right here, it's going to go to town anyway. Okay, does anybody remember what we were at before? Well, we can tell for sure this P&L is at 228, you know, give or take. This P&L here, we had never traded gold, so it's at 600. This P&L we had been trading, so it's at 208. And let's see what this one is. We hadn't traded it, 290. So wouldn't that be pretty decent coin in the morning? Yeah, you could look at the trades that are after 7:59. That's true. We could probably even make it tell us exactly what it was. But does everybody see how to use that little time trader? It's not that difficult to use. If you have an account like with, you know, one of the combines or something where you're trading large accounts like, you know, $50,000, $100,000, $150,000 account, this is not a bad way to trade. Because, you know, keep in mind that something like this can make a world of difference in your bottom line, actually. And you don't have to just go for the moon. You know, to give an example, if we looked at each one of those charts, you know, 290, 188, 600, you know, that's $1,000 bill for just this morning. And then, of course, we even called some trades that were awesome after that, and you could even add to your little repertoire from there too. I'm going to go ahead and protect this right on top of that swing just in case. It was just under 4,000, so it kicked it up to a little over 1,000, didn't it? Okay. Now keep in mind that was 3 contracts, but you don't really want to do it with just one, simply because if you did, you just have to run the runner period. And what usually happens when you do that? They'll thrust up, they'll pull back below your cost, then they'll take off. Alex, on your question, well, on this particular one, you just use the 759 because it's the open of the market. See, when oil opens up, and even when oil inventory, you ever notice that we put those little boxes and you can even trade those? Now remember, I called this trade on gold right here. I remember exactly. I said box it in, and we got that trade. So we got that without time trader. Okay. And we got this trade without time trader this morning too. But keep in mind, see, time trade would have gotten short on this one, but then you're actually going long now. You know, you're actually breaking above mid-band. You know, you're trying to head up. You can put a nice tight stop just in case, and off you go. Now you can use, there's some of our people that like to even trade like 7 a.m. to give an example, Central Time. You know, you could go back and look at it and see if it would have worked, to give an example. Let's look at 7 a.m. 7 a.m. would have been right here. So if you would have boxed it in, you would have gotten a little trade, and then a big trade. So that would have still probably worked out decently, you know, because your box would have been right here. So I would think, you know, a lot of times even on those 30-minute runs that they can run pretty good. I'd probably put this stop just on top of that swing, because that needs to hold if it comes down, and it's breaking out, so it's okay anyway. Okay, and like any trade that you get into, you know, even time trade, if you've got time to watch all four charts, you know, when you get a thrust up, to give an example, if we do, then we're going to put our stop right here, right where my cursor's at, but it's got to break first. And it's almost there. There you go. See, that's still below cost though. See what I mean? Now this is pretty much on this one now, but you got to be careful going with what we call micro, because they'll barely wick them. And that turned out to be a good trade too. Okay. Anybody have any questions on how to use time trader? Notice that in 30 minutes, wow. In 30 minutes, the little box goes away. Okay. Notice that I've got this box set for 30 minutes also, but it stays on your chart because it keeps that shadow on there so you can kind of see where the time was. Will this be on tape for tomorrow? Yes, Lewis, always. I always make sure that we record everything. Okay. Now, does anybody remember this Russell? Because I'm going to show you again how to trade it with Lightning, because everybody should be able to see the next trade on this chart. Okay, let's watch and see if we can figure out exactly where it's at. I'm going to go ahead and take it off the table if it breaks a lightning swing, and if it doesn't, we'll just keep heading up. Lightning swing is right here. Everybody see that? Thrust, retrace, thrust. May get it higher. We'll find out. That's your lightning swing right now. Look at that thing go. Where's our lightning swing right now? It's right here. And it's trying to be right here. That's right there now. Everybody see that lightning swing? Use your lightning swing rather than that mid-band, because, you know, granted, sometimes it's going to take you out of a decent trade, and, you know, you may go ahead and head on up and everything, but keep in mind that when they break those micro swings, they're going to go down and check those deeper. They'll go more into mid-band. Okay, let's see if we can stay with this trade. In the meantime, Does everybody see where the next trade is on the chart? I see it already. Always look to the left to trade the right. I see it right here. See mid-band right there? That's also a swing. That really identifies that when I see that swing like that. So let's just pretend you're not in anything, and let's just see if we can get in another trade. Okay, always draw on your charts. Let's look to the left to trade the right. Got another swing here that they have checked, but they barely checked it. So I'm going to draw a line right there too. So you have a thrust, retrace, thrust, retrace. So that's your swing. This is your sweet spot. Okay, let's see if we can get a trade. Yeah, matter of fact, what would we do? We'd box it in, wouldn't we? We want to go as low as the bottom, so I'm going to put it long inside, touch +2. We're going to go with a full trade. And we'll do, instead of time trade, we'll do region. And we're going to bring our region down. And that's pretty much where I think it's going to hit its head and bounce. By the way, I called this trade in the room this morning. Anybody remember it? It was a phantom, if I remember right. I got a good memory. But it's also a good memory to see on your charts where you should hit your head too, and that's very important. Was it good? I don't remember, exactly how it turned out and everything, but I remember calling it. But see, you basically you've got to know where it's going to be to begin with, and this is what I do in my own mind when I'm trading. Now, keep in mind, we would have still been in that trade just a minute ago. I just want to show you how to get in a trade if you missed it. Because when they break micro, now see, here's micro right here. If they break micro, they're going to go down to medium. Remember, I had my stop right here on Russell. Because I don't want to give them all the way to the mid-band. What if they come down here? Well, guess what? That's where they're coming. Because we know they're coming there because there's a swing there. All right, now let's move this because mid-band moved up. And we're going to see if we can get in a trade. I still think it's going to hit this swing right here. So I would probably put it more like that. Like that. Whoop. And just wait for the trade to come to you. Got to. Now you can box it like above that yellow bar, but always wait for the trade to quit doing its stair stepping down, because see, I said if it broke micro it would check medium. Well, it's checking medium right now, but it has not resumed the buying yet. Yeah, we got in a trade. Oh, I moved my box. Doggone it. I shouldn't have moved my box without. I'm going to go ahead and just still buy again there. We can't get any more than 5, remember? There we go. We got 5. No, we got 6. Oh, I must have left it on 10. I did, because we didn't save that. Okay, everybody remember this little box that we drew in the room this morning? It was right here. I'll just close this out and I'll show you exactly how you could have boxed that in. Just like that. And did you get a nice trade or what? And you could put your stop just underneath the swing. We knew where it was coming, didn't we? Because we trust our lightning. Watch lightning draw on this chart real quick. Let me draw lightning 2. Okay, so you had a high, you had a low, you had a higher high. I don't count it when they barely take out that top, so this is actually what I consider to be my micro swing, and even this one here, but this is like a secondary micro. So when they come down, guess what? They check the secondary swing or the upper swing like this. And that's exactly what it did. Okay? So I don't know if anybody remembers or not, but that turned out to be a pretty darn good trade. Okay? So if you missed that one, does everybody know where the next trade is on this chart? Well, you don't yet because you got to get a thrust. Okay? But let's see by what I just taught if everybody else can pick the next trade. Want to try that? We're going to stay in this trade as long as we can based on lightning. I'm going to go right here until this forms a lightning. There we go. Not quite. There we go. That's good enough. See the lightning went above the swing. And we'll trust that. I'd probably pull it back just a little bit unless it pops up, and it is popping up, so we're good. Okay, but looking to the left to trade the right. What does everybody see on this chart? Anybody? Well, you got to draw your lines on your charts because you will see it. Will it come there exactly? Nobody knows, but let's just draw on our chart and see. Okay, we know that it broke out from here. All right, that's above midband right now, so I would say at least at midband. Still heading up. Wait till it pops to move our stop like that. And then use lightning, especially when they thrust like that. Don't let them come all the way back down underneath here. There's your little swing right there. See it? Right there, and it's going to take you. Just got taken. Everybody see that? Now, where's the trade on the chart, though? Anybody? Draw your lines on your charts, and I think you'll see it. We've got one line drawn, but they can't come down here this low. Everybody see why? Let me show you why. This is important. High, low, higher high, much higher high. So are they coming all the way down here to check? No. They can't because they won't be heading up anymore. Everybody see that? But they can come down to here. So rather than just taking a chance, like buying one like that, don't do that. All you got to do is actually just get ready to box it in. Let it do its thing for a minute. We could even wait till it breaks this swing until we get a lightning confirming. I'm going to do a little breakout. But only if, well, it looks like it's trying to bounce. Nothing yet. There we go. We're still doing lightning down so far, which is good. I was hoping it would do that because it really needs to check really close to like right there. Well, it did check there. Let's see if it'll check here. But I'd be ready to buy this little puppy if it pops up above that swing. Lightning has not changed green. See why I'm moving that? 1, 2, 3 reversal. If it happens to break it. There you go. There you go. You just got you a trade. Everybody see where it came down to? It came down to exactly where we thought it would. And the reason it does that is because of that lightning. Always remember, and lightning is just a technical term that we coined at Viper for swings. It's just your minor swings and your secondary swings and your medium swings and your longer term swings. But I don't know if anybody remembers. I don't know why that just went flat just then. I think I moved my targets what I did. But anyway, I think we're almost done. Everybody see all this? So let's trade this tomorrow and see if we can get some of these trades, because this isn't hokey pokey. I called that trade in the room live, and the way I did it was exactly the way I drew it just then. I also called this trade in the room live. Don't fall for things breaking down until they really break. For instance, if this was going to head down and then we're going to wrap, low, high, that's a pretty good swing. So if this broke here and came back and kissed it, wouldn't we be looking for a short? And the answer is yes. But is it doing that? And the answer is no. It bounced off support. And you've always got to know and always remember that when they break these swings, they're no longer heading up. They may go sideways for an hour or two or something like that. But as long as you get higher lows and higher highs, you are still looking for longs. Don't fall for this, just getting in under mid-band just because it breaks it. Because while you're getting a 5-tick trade, we'll be getting a 30-tick trade. Okay? If this was heading down, thrust, retrace, thrust, it would take that out. Okay? And that's not just because it's here below the mid-band. That's because that's a swing. That's your Lightning 3 swing. I'll show you real quick before we wrap. Well, it doesn't even show it yet because it hasn't done another one down here yet. It probably will. Let's see if it did. Let's just fast forward it for a minute and see. Yeah, there it is. See, that's your swing. But we know where that swing is because we draw on our charts and we use our Lightning and we get great trades by doing that. Okay? Thanks everybody for coming. Hope you enjoyed it. Look at that trade, by the way. Monster. All right. The size of the box, keep in mind what size you use for the box. Well, the box actually draws itself, Alex, but you can resize it. The beauty of the region type trade is that we made it to where you can totally resize it. Where's the next trade on this chart? Anybody? I see it. I see it. I see it. Anybody? Right there. Whoa, I just missed it. It's too fast. But anyway, did you see it? Line. Will it work? Well, it already is. So we got in late, but we still got a trade. Okay, everybody see how I got that trade just then? It's because it kissed that line right there. I got it going like 500 times, so we're going to have a hard time staying in it. All right, thanks everyone. Hope you enjoyed it, and it was recorded. And if anybody has any questions on it, be sure and just ask me after the room tomorrow, and I'll be happy to show you even. All right, everybody have a great evening, and we'll do this again tomorrow. This is a fun way to make a living. All right, everyone, thanks.